Alright, what is up, everybody? Welcome to some TNT Championship 2026 group stage coverage. I am Delphius. How's it going, everybody? On this wonderful Mother's Day. Yeah, we've got going on here, so make sure to call your mother. Say hi. If you are a mother, well then, thank you. Thank you for your service, I guess. I don't know. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. I've been pretty busy lately, so I haven't been able to stream as much as I'd like to. But shout out to QQ. He's been doing a lot of streaming, a lot of covering of the events. He doesn't really do the YouTube thing or the VOD, so you just have to check out his Twitch on Tickle Bandit. You can find that in the Discord pretty easily. Evil Murloc's also been doing a little bit of streaming, so shout out to him as well. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it today. I just wanted to pop on the stream and say hi. Probably not a super long one today either. I picked out 4 matches from the group stage, so we'll take a look at these. And then also just kind of reminder, the music is high. Thank you for letting me know that. I can like barely hear it in my headset. Let me know if that is better. I turned it down pretty far and turned my mic up. Let me know if that's better. Yeah, we got some group stage matches here. We are about halfway through the group stage at the moment as far as the tournament goes. So if you are in the event, please reach out and get those matches knocked out with your opponents. It really helps if all the matches are complete, so we don't have to scratch our head and figure out how to give people points, because the round of 16 is seeded. So how well you do in the group stage is going to matter for how you're placed in the round of 16. So if folks don't complete their matches, it gets a little bit more funky, but I'm a math guy. I'll figure it out. So yeah, I'm excited for the group stage to continue. So far, I mean, I do have a little bit of standings results, but it's still super preliminary because by the time I recorded those initial standings, there weren't a ton of matches done. But Chase and Evil Murloc right now seem to be doing really good. Melvin Fro, R22 as well. Should be pretty much guaranteed into the round of 16 at this point. We'll see how the rest of their groups pan out, though. However, today we are just going to check out some games, hang out. Again, remember to get your matches done if you are in the event. A lot of people actually have been getting their matches in, especially over the weekend. So I need to update the scoreboard. Maybe I'll do that tonight or tomorrow night and get some new standings up. But really, the big kahuna is the round of 16, which we are hoping to kick off at the end of this month. So round of 16 hopefully is running from late May to mid-June is the goal. Definitely don't want this thing to linger on too much. I think that can happen sometimes in some of these like tournament-style events. That's why we're being kind of hard on these deadlines, you know, just to keep things moving. So, regardless, and then what's nice too is like once you get to the round of 16, these are players that are a lot more active, so those matches really shouldn't take too long to get organized and to get finished. So, really looking forward to round of 16, see who fleshes out. Honestly, a lot of good players. I mean, people are just kind of getting better at this game overall. A lot of folks that you wouldn't have think would have done as well in the past are actually doing pretty well this season. So, cool. All right, let's hop into it. Game number 1 here. R22 versus Hilix. R22, of course, our reigning champion, who defeated Tatanka in our last season finals. If you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. R22 here with Squirrel Toad, Pigeon Ferret, Falcon Skunk. Really interesting composition there. Meanwhile, his opponent, Floor, Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Skunk. Why is this Floor? Wait a second. I thought this was R22 versus Hilix. Oh. Whoops. So, ignore that. Ignore that. That never happened. Okay. Oh, that sucks. So, I don't know why why would the number 3 be first? Hang on a second. Now I'm mad. Why? Why is it organized this way? Wouldn't 1? Am I crazy? Well, I'm glad I noticed that now. Like, why wouldn't it go 1, 2, 3? Why is it 3, 2, 1? Hey, what's up, Razzle the Red? What's up, Attack Speed Enjoyer? Good to see y'all in the chat. Let me know how the levels are, by the way. Should be pretty good, I think. But Z4Tan did mention the music was a little too high. Alright, anyways. It's organized from bottom to top. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know why. It's weird. It's like not how file structures are supposed to work. So basically the reason I'm mad about that is because I just exposed that that's a dummy replay. Anyways, I'll have to keep my eye on that a little bit better. So here's the real game here that we're interested in. R22 versus Hilix. Hilix also a really strong opponent. I believe I was in the group with Hilix last season. And he was a very tough opponent here. But look at this deck from R22. I mean, really cool. We did see the Ferret earlier. I wonder if R22 this season has been kind of on the Ferret train. My takeaway from the games that I played in my group stage is that the meta seems like really aggressive right now. I don't know, maybe it's just the people that I play against or practice against, but felt like hard to me to even like take an expansion if your opponent is not okay with that, or if the map is too short. Like, it's just very easy right now to punish like any kind of greed, which is fair. I don't think I necessarily don't like that, but from like just an RTS general standpoint, like greeting seems very punishable. Like Hilix, if he notices this turret, or I'm sorry, the mill, I feel like he could just build a bunch of squirrel moles and like just super punish R22. But it depends on what else R22 does. Like, number one, it's a pretty sneaky base. Oh, I do like this kind of little mole to clear the campfire there. And technically, per Tooth and Tail theory, like, you can get away with the mill, right? But like building like the tier 2, like, I feel like this would be super punishable by Hilix if he wanted to. Like, if he just rails down a bunch of squirrels and then builds some moles. But at the same time, it's like also the angle of attack is so important. Like, there's no infrastructure over here, right? Like, if Hilix wanted to punish this quick tier 2 and quick expansion, you know, he's basically going to be just attacking the pigs. And let's see if this works. Because I think Hilix is saying the same thing that I'm thinking here. Let's see, is he going to build some moles? Because this is super greedy from R22, right? Like, he got a mill, he got a farm, and now he's getting tier 2. So here comes the moles. But again, the moles aren't going to be as impactful because there's not warrens to attack. The way that R22 has placed the warrens are very defensive. So let's see. I don't know, is Hilix waiting too long? Here's the thing. This is what makes our, like, Tooth and Tail so weird. Is, like, this is not gonna work. But if the second base was forward, this would be a dead second base 100%. But since, like, this is actually a really important point, I feel like. The only reason R22 is able to get away with this level of greed, like opening up with the mill and the tier 2, is the geography of the map. Like, if you look at the attack angle here, Hilix has to attack from right here into the pigs, where the moles aren't going to be as effective. I still feel like Hilix should be able to get some pigs here, but if this was the opposite, if the main base was over here, the natural was here, that's a dead natural, and then that's probably the end of the game. So I think R22 actually defends this, and I think Hilix has waited way too long as well. The longer he waits, the harder this is going to get. So this is not going to work, I don't think. Let's see. The toads are really nice to help against the moles here. So big attack coming in. And yeah, the raccoons are going to go down. But this defense from R22, I mean, yeah, he lost his raccoons, but the point is, you know, he kept the second base. He didn't take any actual damage. Now he's just going to win off the counterattack. So he is actually going to back off, it looks like, once he saw those turrets come up. and just go ahead and come home and get more ahead by making more farms. But yeah, I mean, that's really interesting because I think that aggression from Hilix, again, it should have worked if he went faster and if the map geography was a little bit different. But you can make the argument that R22 would not be this greedy if the map was a little bit different. Like, positioning and engagement is almost more important than anything else in Tooth and Tail. And this game is such a great example of that, because I feel like Hilix would have won if these builds were the same, but the map was just a little bit different. But again, R22 wouldn't have done that build, right? Like, if he had identified that that was a risky thing to do. So all these turrets coming out of Hilix here to try to dissuade an attack to get caught up on macro, which I do like, but unfortunately for Hilix, R22 has the ferrets, which I don't know if ferrets are meta this season. If they are, that's amazing. That wasn't really my experience. But looking at a couple of R22's replays, it seems like he likes to take the ferrets, which I love the idea. Like, if you feel like your deck is solid enough to be a 5-unit deck, like, just take the ferrets out. Like, is this a decent playstyle from R22? I think so. I mean, what is the late game supposed to be? I guess just kind of scaling up on raccoons and falcons. I mean, falcons are like the most scalable unit in the game, so that could potentially work. And I love this patience with the ferrets, like trying to make the ferrets early or making your strategy completely revolve around the ferrets is probably not a good idea, but just like peppering in the ferrets. And now R22 can sit out here and posture with the better army and then just siege them down. Using the falcons as well to kind of zone out the skunks. This micro from R22 is so good. Let's see if he decides to just go ahead and pull the trigger. It looks like he will. All those skunks really doing a work to the tier 1 of R22 though. But the turrets have been cleared out. Really interesting playstyle here from R22. And I like that he was able to expand, he was able to get away with it. I think from here, R22's pretty much got it, but interesting game. I think there's a lot to learn from this game, you know. Again, like, I feel like on paper, Hilix's idea of let me punish, you know, R22 literally opened up with like a middle of farm and then a tier 2. So tried to punish that, but didn't quite attack in the right timing window. Didn't quite have the right geography to really pull that kind of thing off. I think Hilix could have like moved up over here earlier and just like started harassing some of the pigs. Was probably the better move. GG. Cool game here from R22. All right. Let's hop into the next one. Not game number 3, as it really wants me to choose. All right, in the bottom we have R22, and up top, Hilix. So I don't know if R22 is clowning now with the artillery cannon, or if people think that's a viable unit. I think R22 is just so confident that he knows he could utilize the group stage kind of as practice. Trying out different things. Again, I think R22 really likes this, like, raccoon, falcon, squirrel core. We saw R22 use the raccoons quite a bit in the previous grand finals to great success. And meanwhile, Hilix does have the fox, which is always fun. But unfortunate for Hilix here, artillery cannon's really good against the fox. The wolf is really good against the fox, but the other units not quite so much. I have heard that Evil Murloc has been using fox quite a bit, which I'm pretty excited for. I don't know, the meta just seems so aggressive at the moment. I feel like the right tier 3 might just be the boar. But it's hard to say. I mean, there isn't really a right or a wrong. That's kind of what makes Tooth and Tail so much fun. But, you know, I'm just thinking about if you're throwing down a tier 3, you're most likely, like, getting that tier 3 to spawn kind of right as you're about to die, you know, because they're attacking you after they see the tier 3 coming. So you really need it to be like that badger or that boar or something like that that's just like super high impact when it comes out. I don't know if that's always the case. Again, my experience this season has been very aggressive, but maybe that's not. I also didn't practice a whole lot against a ton of different people, so maybe that's just the folks that I did play against. But if it is very aggressive, you are going to want those like high impact tier 3s, right? It's a little bit of Snake Mine play here. Pretty fun out of Hilix. I like the idea of trying to essentially kind of bait the opponent into walking over your mines with a kiting unit like a snake or a ferret, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Maybe Hilix is tired of R22's greed. Double tier 2 here. Gonna try to punish it. The skunk is quite nice. That might... I think that's a dead skunk. 2 stacks of poison. Well, in the territory, though. And some water. Oh, might just barely live. Let's see. Oh, 1 HP! Oh, my God. That could be the game right there. I like Hilix's idea to pressure. But Hilix should be aware that, like, R22 is kind of forced on a one-base play here. Even more so, you know, very limited space on Warrens as well. Really bad map here for R22. So this idea of, like, getting the mill, I think that's one thing you gotta read as well, right? Like, if it's, like, your opponent is stuck on one base, maybe you can try to expand, but I think taking the mill from Hilix here was a little bit of a mistake. I think Hilix should have also just kind of agreed that this is going to be a one-base game. The map's not really good for either player to expand, but Hilix here without really any AoE. You know, no skunks, no toads. Does have the mines, but didn't quite get into the right positions. And yeah, just with the raccoon skunk here, R22 looks like he's just going to be able to rail through. I think the big problem here was the differential in Tier 1. You know, the snakes didn't quite do enough. Hilix kind of needed their own AoE. The Tier 1 from R22 should just be able to run this one over. Yeah, lots of squirrels. Squirrels are really good right now. I mean, just build squirrels. I feel like I lost a lot of games doing kind of like what Hilix did there. Like, just trying to have fun with these Tier 2 and, like, come up with this strategy, but, like, Skunk Squirrel is really good. Just build Skunk Squirrel. So really well done from R22 there. Some quick wins. Let's hop over into Noun Verber versus Winterload. It's kind of fun, though. We have had... I'm actually kind of excited to see how the top players are going to navigate this very aggressive meta that it feels like we're in. Into the round of 16. Because we have seen the opposite, where you have, like, these, you know, balloon walls and Tier 2, Tier 3 kind of builds. Over on the right-hand side, we've got Winterload, and on the left, Noun Verber. Again, both players that I think, you know, in past tournaments, you might consider them intermediate, or like, oh, it should be pretty good wins. But now, I think both these players have gotten very strong. And again, with this meta, with this like fast, kind of down and dirty, like knife fight meta that we're in, you know, you never know. And look at this from Winterload, trying to do the 4-farm double. Oh, decides against it. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they considered it as a very quick map, and great answer from Noun Verber, by the way. The 5-farm safety Warren when you might be under attack from a 4-farm double. I mean, that reminds me of, like, 2017 Tooth and Tail right there, you know. That was some play lines from almost a decade ago. My gosh, has it been that long? So, Winterload with a Warren that's kind of in a dangerous position. This can really matter. Number one, this is like the tiniest map ever, right? Like, territory is almost touching here in the middle. There's even some road here from both sides. I like this, like, double high ground as well. That can lead to some fun positional type things. But I'm a little bit worried about Winterload's Warren placement here. It is kind of nice to get that high ground vision. You never want to be on the low ground like this, but that is just a very, very exposed Warren. So I could see a line of play happen where Noun Verber just kind of pressures this Warren, it goes down, and it just kind of snowballs the game from there. So Winterload needs to be careful not to let that happen. You know, I have been talking about the meta feeling kind of aggressive at the moment, and I think this map is going to show us that even more. I love that little kind of delayed scout by Noun Verber, by the way, just to go in and double check, see what's going on. Winterload floating a bunch of money at the moment. Let's see what they decide to use it on. Some cams, okay. So Winterload actually going to try to expand here. Noun Verber going into Snake. Interesting that neither player decided for Skunk first. They both do have access to that. The Snake versus Cam can go either direction. I mean, on paper, you would think that the Snakes would have an advantage there because the Cams try to re-stealth, but they're still poisoned. But if the Cams do get on top of the Snakes or do enough damage to the opponent's Squirrels before dying, that could be very useful as well. So, Noun Verber not going to try to attack. Instead, going to take their own mill. So surprisingly, we are going to get into a 2-base game here. Look, the territory is actually touching now. So the question now becomes, how much is either player going to actually commit to these second base economies versus maybe build a farm or two and rail down a bunch of squirrels? Skunks coming out for both sides, so pretty mirror game so far. Pretty even, I would say, from both sides. I am starting to like this Noun Verber army a little bit better, though. You know, the Snakes are going to add a lot of harassment here. Yeah, here come the Cams, so one Snake goes down. And both Cams should die here. Yeah, this is where, see, this Cam, even though he tried to stealth again, should be dying to the poison. Look, there it is. So, nice little trade there for Noun Verber. Kind of hard to tell from the army graphs. It might have been a lot of squirrels went down for Noun Verber, but 1 tier 2 for 2. It's a decent trade. No Cams here. But Winterload's going to posture forward anyways. The pigeons from Noun Verber are going to come in handy. I do like the squirrels, or the lizards here. Squizzard is very good against skunks and snakes. Oop. That snake barely living, that's actually huge. Another Cam gonna die to the poison. Winterload sees red, trying to get that snake up in there before... Oh, Commander goes down, but is able to retreat his units enough. Now Verber doesn't actually know that they're all still waiting there. He could have taken more advantage of that. Still a pretty even game, it feels like. Again, I do like the Squizzard. The lizards are gonna be a good addition to this army comp. I would like them to get even more lizards, I think. Nice deep scout here from Noun Verber. Meanwhile, the skunk harassment is coming in. This guy, me and Tosh can do our games right now live if you want. Yeah, we can. Yeah, after the series, if you guys want to do that, I'm down. I'm not on a delay, so honor system, obviously, but I'm not worried about you two. As long as you guys are good with that. Alright, Winterload pushing back in. This is a pretty close game. But Winterload is starting to get a little bit of farm damage. Actually, this attack angle is pretty bad for Winterload because that gristmill is just tanking so much damage. It looks like it might end up not mattering. I think Winterload might have got too far ahead on that previous engagement. Yeah, looks like it. So, GG. Nice quick one here for Winterload. Now Verber is going to stay in the game. I don't know if I'm calling it too. I don't think so, no. He's got one skunk left. Alright, cool. Well done from Winterload there. Okay, let's go into game number 2. And then, yeah, Tosh and this guy, if you guys want to get ready, we could play all live. That'd be fun. Alright, here we go. Noun Verber on the left, and over on the right-hand side, Winterload. I love this deck out of Noun Verber. That is just so, like, my play style at the moment. Honestly, same. Both decks are very similar. I like the Squizzer. I do feel like we're in a double tier 1 meta. Would any good players in chat agree with me there? Like, it feels like all the tier 1 are really viable right now. Like, Squizzer, Toad, Mole. Like, I feel like I don't really count Pigeon. Pigeon's kind of like its own unit. But I don't know if I would, like, sign off on one tier 1 at the moment. Unless you had a really, really good reason. Because, again, like, the Toads feel so strong. The Moles feel strong. Every tier 1 feels like it's got its job right now. Which I love, by the way. I think that's a lot of fun. So this is a huge map. Weird map as well. It's kinda symmetrical. It looks a little better, like this being a little closer. It's definitely better for Noun Verber. This space right here is really the big reason why. You know, he's got this nice 3 bases here. These to expand into. These probably won't come into play too much, but I feel like this base right here is really kind of what makes it more of a Noun Verber map. I like this 6 o'clock, by the way. If you look in the middle, it's kind of symmetrical to get to it, which is kind of fun. It's like something that either player could take realistically. I like Winterload's start a bit better. Getting ahead on eco on a large map like this, I think, is generally better than... Sorry, opening the blinds for my cat here. Let's look outside. It's a nice day. I actually might go mountain biking after this. Get out and get some exercise. I'm about to be in Albuquerque for a week, so I'm gonna run around while I still can. It's a beautiful day today. Noun Verber is getting caught up on second base farms, which is nice. But overall, I think I like that opening for Winterload a little bit better. We'll see if it ends up actually mattering or not. It's cool having these cams, but there's not really a good, like, little sneaky entrance to get them in and out, realistically. So Noun Verber gonna continue to build up. Looks like Winterload is moving out the squirrels. I don't see why. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, maybe trying to punish the lack of tier 1 here. This would be a good attack, I think. I mean, I think the camps probably are enough. Again, no moles. Like, if Winterload had moles right here, they could just probably win the game. Oh, yeah, especially because the tier 3 going down. Winterload? Do Winterload DC or something? Okay. Oh, my God. I had to answer the door or something. Well, it's able to come back home, throw down a bunch of stuff. Just goes ahead and throws down the tier 3. I think I agree with that. Noun Verber not want to be able to get in there and see it, but you know, pretty much if you've been in a 16 farm kind of handshake agreement style game, you know, you should expect that tier 3 to be there, even if you haven't seen it. So Winterload gonna try to look for that tier 3 as well. It's gonna be hard to ever really get deep scouts in these bases, I think, moving forward. Alright. Looks like we're just going to build up for a minute. Again, this is what I'm worried about, though, is I think that Noun Verber's got the inevitability on this map. Unless Winterload can really get out here and start taking these mills. Taking the 6 o'clock's also an option, but that's pretty smart from Noun Verber, I think, to just go ahead and take that. Number one, to make it hard for Winterload to clear that out if they really want that base. And then number two, to obviously let you know when they are taking it. But Winterload doesn't actually, or I'm sorry, Noun Verber does not have to attack, which is very important because this is going to be difficult to attack into. Really no way, no matter how you slice it, even come through the water. The high ground's always a big advantage. Even if you have falcons, it can still just be difficult to attack up a ramp. There's also a little bit of a choke right here. I don't know, like, I'm not sure what the best way for Winterload to really get in there is, and unfortunately, the onus is now on Winterload to do so. Because now, yeah, just gonna lose 60 food there for free, unfortunately. But this is where, yeah, Winterload's gotta do something. Now Verber could just sit here and just keep building more falcons and getting third base economy, right? So this is looking pretty tough. Yeah, Winterload's kind of got to stand their ground here. Maybe if they can get both these mills. Like, maybe send the cams to go clear this out. Oh, just gonna attack. Right when Noun Verber's commander isn't there, it needs to be careful. Gonna lose a lot of units on this retreat. Is that gonna be enough momentum for Winterload to just push through here and win the game? He's gonna try to. Lots of falcons in the air, but is gonna start going back eventually. He wants to try to maintain the falcons and the wolf. I don't know if that was a correct move. Running away in Tooth and Tail is just so risky. Oh, looks like Winterload is gonna continue to try to rally back home. Now Verber is just so far ahead. Oh, look at that. That's what I was talking about, man. He's just trying to attack in. Right? Like, look how big of a difference I can make. It's brutal. Tons of squirrels here. What do you do if you're Winterload? I mean, he's got to kill the 6 o'clock. He doesn't even know. That's the problem, too. Which can always be really frustrating in Tooth and Tail when you don't realize, like, how far behind you are on economy, and you're like, how was that fight not closer? Okay, I like the just ton of squirrels approach. So we're gonna just try to defend this mill. I mean, I don't think it's gonna last, right? Like, well, I mean, the army value graphs aren't super different at the moment, but I think it's going to be very easy for Noun Verber to just push off of this. That many squirrels, though, dude. Squirrels are kind of insane. If they can find their tiles, yeah, and look, they all get the buff. Oh, God. The skunks and camps, though. Just totally run it over. The Winterload just can't keep this up, so GG. Gonna tap out. And, cool. It'll put us to a game 3 here. And then after this, we are going to go into a live match between this guy and Big Pimpintosh. That's going to be fun. All right, in the bottom right, Noun Verber. In the left, Winterload. This is a great series. I feel like these guys are very evenly matched. And I would love to see either of them kind of squeak into the round of 16. You know, it just depends on who's in their group, I guess. We tried to even out the groups. It was Kipo's idea to split it to where it's like you had the round of 16 players and then the round of 8 players, if you will. So the top half of the round of 16 and then everybody else. I think that was a fun split. Because it's like the round of 8 players you can kind of assume will get out of their group. Not necessarily 100%. You know, but very favored. And then the round of 16 players, I mean, maybe not, right? I mean, there are really strong... Again, like, I feel like the players that we used to consider kind of lower tier have really caught up this season. You know, I was watching Jordy, for example, on QQ stream, and Jordy was just doing phenomenal. I mean, I think Jordy took a game off R22. You know? So I'd love to see this kind of gap getting bridged a little bit. And we might have, I think we're definitely going to have some newcomers into round of 16 this season. I think Evil Murloc is a great example. Evil Murloc, what, got round of 4? Last season? Chase is another name that I think we kind of have to keep our eye on. Yeah, these players are taking the game very seriously these days. And looking for some tournament performance victories here. So Winterload gonna try to punish the tier 2? Is that the idea here? I think they can. Did they get a pig? No, the squirrels should be. Oh! Okay, 2 squirrels go down. Not gonna get the pig though. I think that was a little inefficient from Winterload. I think they lost 3 and they got 2. Alright, Winterload. Moving forward. I mean, in theory, Squizzard should be able to do okay against Skunk, but you want to kind of get a better engagement with those lizards there. You want them to kind of flank a bit. Alright, the Badger coming out from Winterload here. And meanwhile, second base for Noun Verber. Oh, Noun Verber just homing scouted over to that Badger, but didn't quite make it there. They knew their spider sense was tingling. I mean, that is a juicy spot to put your tier 3, right? So Noun Verber doesn't have any snakes. I mean, what do you do if you're Noun Verber in this position to counter the Badger? Probably cam Falcon, I guess, or obviously your own Wolf, but I think too much time has passed now. Yeah, like, I feel like you got about, like, halfway through the tier 3 building, right, to, like, see it yourself and put your own tier 3 down. Winterload is supply block, but just selling off one tier 1 Warren should do the trick. They're hesitant to do it, though, because they're worried about being attacked. I think they also don't want Noun Verber to see them sell something. Noun Verber's finally going to see the Badger, though. Now that it is seen, Winterload didn't mind selling something off to pay for it. But yeah, I agree with this. Like, you don't have time. Like, you only really have time to build your own tier 3, I think, if that Warren is still building. But, like, if you see that it's established, and especially on a small map like this, like, you're just not going to have time to get your own tier 3 out. So now Verber going with a lot of lizards, which actually might end up winning the game. Gonna double check and make sure it wasn't sold. Because now Verber might have to turn this into like a base race kind of thing. I'm curious that they built all this tier 1, but they didn't attack. Because now the Badger's here, right? But now lizards are pretty good against Badger, though. I don't know, man. I think Winterload's got this. 27, 33. Winterload's got about the same amount of tier 1, a little bit less. The Skunks are here for Noun Verber. I think Noun Verber's just got to try to run around with the lizards and take out the mill. I don't know how well that would actually work. Alright, gotta go in for it. Keep in mind, trying to find tiles is really important here, and that kind of was a bad situation for Winterload just because that reason. All the tier 1 could not find tiles there. The Badger's no longer revved up. Are the lizards gonna be able to catch the Badger? So much tier 1 left over for Noun Verber. That engagement was so good for Noun Verber. Again, it had a lot to do with the fact that the squirrels already had tiles from his side, and the tier 1 from Winterload was very bunched up there. So it was very hard for them to find a tile, because you gotta actually find a tile in Tooth and Tail to stand on before you can shoot. Good job from Winterload just not dying there. It looked very, very grim for a moment when all the tier 1 got eradicated by the lizards. Gonna come back out with his Badger. I wonder if it's a little bit premature. Winterload is on the clock, though. Yeah, Noun Verber's got the second base. Keep that in mind. So, 8 HP, 9 HP. So this looks like a Noun Verber victory, right? Like, we need this Badger to get full HP ASAP. Winterload's starving out. Noun Verber's still got a second base bumping. Okay, so now that the pigeons are here, the Badger's getting healed back up. Winterload will be able to sell off... I think you just sell everything but the 2 pigeon warrens, right? And the Badger, I would just sell those squirrels, I think. Actually deciding to go down on 1 pigeon warren. Interesting. There's a lot of lizards here for Noun Verber. Is this Badger going to be able to do it? Going to need some really good Badger micro here. Very patient with the lizards, trying to run around and gonna get this surround on this Badger. Eventually, the Badger running for its life and diving in. But GG there. Really well played from Noun Verber. Great engagements and just showing you the power of tier 1 at the moment. Well done. Cool. All right, let's go into this live series here. So I'm going to make the password TnTTV, this guy and Tosh. Please join. If you are not this guy and Tosh, please do not join, because you can just cause some latency. So please do not do that. Alright. So live match here. This guy versus Big Pimp and Tosh. I think this guy is favored, but Big Pimpintosh, again, is one of these old school players. You know, knows the game really well, knows Badger really well. And it just depends on how hard they're trying at the moment, right? But again, I feel like, unfortunately, Tosh is a little bit of a creative player, a macro player. And I don't think this meta really favors that, from my experience. I feel like this meta is all about aggression. It's all about tier 1, tier 2. I could be wrong. I would love to see Tosh hold the fort. Oh, I love this deck from this guy, by the way. Be able to get up to his Badger. You know, the turrets might help here. But here we go. So on the right-hand side, we've got this guy, and up top, we've got Big Pimp and Tosh. And okay, no matter how you like to play Tooth and Tail, this map is an aggro map, right? So... the differences between the decks here, this guy running Raccoon Wolf Cam versus Tosh's Snake Badger turret. The turret could actually get a lot done, surprisingly, here. Like, if Tosh somehow, I mean, I don't know, like, if you even could. Let me look at the... because it's like, if you try to, like, build some turrets right here, pressure this guy, like, this guy could just, like, walk around, right? It's a little harder to do that than it looks, I guess, if you check out the mini-map. So I think we're going to have an aggressive game. Just from the way that the folks spawn. Now, it's not unheard of for this guy to take this base, but I mean, it kind of is, right? Like, if this guy had turrets, if this was the opposite, then that would be insane. So we're going to see a very early 7-farm Warren here from Tosh. I don't think this guy has to pivot. I think you're fine to just build a farm. Let's see, because there will be an instant in time where Tosh has, like, a squirrel, and this guy doesn't. But not going to be able to really take advantage of that. So very, very slight advantage here for this guy at the moment. Pretty negligible, though. Gonna go into Raccoons. I think this is risky. Raccoon gonna be a great unit at that kind of harassment style. And again here, like, Tosh you know, wanting to do Tosh things, wanting to macro up, and this guy does scout that immediately. And sees that, but the question is, can you even go punish it, right? Because, like, if this guy moves his units all the way down here, he's so out of position that Tosh could just go counterattack and win. So this is fun. And then, you know what? Tosh has even got the turrets to be greedy like this, you know? Like, I think Tosh needs a turret. Like, now. Let's see what they do. Yeah, I think that Warren should have been a turret. Now the raccoon's gonna come out and start harassing. This road here is nice for Tosh, though. That pigeon's gonna make a big difference for this raccoon on the front line. Yeah, and I think Tosh literally just needed a turret instead of a Warren. There's a turret. But I think this can prompt this guy to build his own mill if they wanted to. I don't think this guy's just worried at all about the economy coming down. And here come the raccoons to go attack the other base, which Tosh is going to see. But Tosh should use this as an opportunity to counterattack. But the question is, can he even do anything? Are the missing raccoons going to matter enough? I mean, he has to try. He's going to lose this mill if he doesn't do anything. He can at least get his money back. I mean, I think you try to catch those raccoons or something. I don't know, it's a tough decision. Again, he's got so much money wrapped up in other things. Just gonna try to get that badger. And this was kind of what I was worried about, right? Like, I felt like I struggled the same way in this meta, where it's like, I want to do stuff like get that second base out or get my tier 3 and stuff like that, but that's really not what this meta is. Like, this meta is just so aggressive. Wolf coming out from this guy here. Just kind of realizing, you know, we're not attacking each other. Tosh is turtling up. Obviously, Tosh is getting up to his own thing. This guy gonna try to find some angles to get some damage done. Gonna take out one turret. I love this, like, skunk raccoon pigeon comp. That's really cool. I don't think it scales super well into the late game, but I don't think it needs to, right? Like, look at it just busting through. Like, I mean, the raccoons and the skunks together are just so tanky. They kind of complement each other very well. So Tosh lives through that. But the question is he going to live through the next attack? This guy does see the badger on the way. More turrets here from this guy. Like, the wolf comes out. The wolf is really going to be strong with your raccoon and squirrels and cams, I guess, in this comp from this guy. No falcon for that late game. But again, we're not focused on the late game in this meta, I don't think. I think it's a very one base, two base meta that folks are kind of leveraging. So the badger is going to come out, but so is the wolf. And Tosh is a very, very powerful badger player. Let's see if it's going to be enough. You know, all these raccoons can really burst down the badger quite quickly. And needs to be careful with that badger. You got to play the game, but trying to keep it alive, but also getting that rev. The rev does come up, but that's right when this guy pulls back. Most of the supporting units are down here from Tosh. The badger goes down, and GG. This guy, the masterclass on this aggressive strategy, takes game number 1. Hopping into match number 2. This guy with that same deck. I love that deck. That's so strong. Here we go. Game number 2. In the blue, this guy. the same deck as last time. This time, changing up is Tosh up top. I also think that's a very strong deck in this meta. Actually, I think it's a really good adjustment from Tosh based on what he just saw out of this guy, right? Like, the Squizzard is going to be better against Skunk. The Cams are good against Raccoons. And then Falcon Boar is like a decent mid-game army comp. So, over here from this guy, gonna throw down some farms. We might have a Macro Mac here. I don't know. It's kind of weird for both sides. Like, this ramping is really awkward for Tosh to get to this left-hand base. And this guy does have a plethora of expansion options. I mean, I think I'd probably take this one. I don't know, again, the ramping's kind of weird here. Good attack path from Tosh into that if they chose. But where do you expand if you're Tosh here? I mean, I guess that's just such a weird one. Like, it's got to be over here, right? 8 farm double with the lizards. I like that. Surprisingly, this guy's base is, like, pretty well defended against lizards. There's really only, like, this entrance, then this area. Unfortunately for Tosh, to kind of backdoor approach here. It's more tier 1 from Tosh against the raccoons of this guy. So far, it's looking good, and snakes are also actually pretty good at punishing raccoons, too. So, right now, I think Tosh is looking good. This guy is surprisingly going to take the ninja this time at the 9 o'clock. But just more tier 1 for now. So the ninja's going to be pretty important because Tosh is probably trying to see that. Like, okay, did you take an expansion? If no, then mine is not safe to take, right? But I'm sure Tosh wants to expand. But also needs to respect the aggression out of this guy. So Tosh actually has a really strong army right now if they just pulled the trigger, I think. But I don't think they have a way of knowing that. Ooh, Tosh gonna start running around on the map with the lizards. Might just end up finding that mill. Gonna take out that campfire, might as well. This guy hasn't put anything on that mill just yet. Lots of tier 1 though here for Tosh. I would love to see him try. I mean, this is a really good moment. This guy's actually kind of weak trying to transition into cams. Might have waited a little bit too long. I think he should go for it. There's only one cam on the map right now. Being careful. Gonna try to slam in here. Okay, the second cam does come out just in time though, and that's gonna be able to push this away. Man, that's just how Razor's Edge Tooth and Tail can be sometime. Like, if Tosh attacked like 15 seconds before that, he would have won the game. But now this guy very smartly kind of read from the opponent. Okay, it's Squizzard. That's Raccoon's no good here. Let me get into cam. This is actually a decent engagement so far for Tosh. This is a difficult spot to attack into. Tosh needs to be careful with these lizards, trying to find the right engagement, and he's just gonna have to go for it now. The cams doing a good job on the front, but I think Tosh might have pulled those lizards back a little bit prematurely. Probably should have just let him commit onto the cams and finish the one off. 1 HP on that one cam. Okay, it does go down. One cam remains here for this guy. Continuing to push forward. Okay, the cam does spawn for Tosh. That's going to be a big help here. One Warren goes down, but I think with the cam, Tosh should be able to defend this. Very, very close game. This guy is a farm up though from that second base. And Tosh is gonna try to get the runaround scout. I wonder if he's starting to feel the difference in economy and just can't quantify it. Because Tosh probably thinks he should be ahead right now, right? Because he's got the campfire, but he doesn't know about that 9 o'clock base. I like the flanking attempts from Tosh here. Really patient control with the cams, though, from this guy. Being able to thwart those lizards away. Man, this is such a close game. I feel like Tosh is playing so well. But I think he's getting out macroed and doesn't realize it. Yeah, that army value graph does not look too good for Tosh in that last engagement. I think it's because the cams ended up living there for this guy. The control of the cams have been very, very well done here. And that tier 2 just being in that position is just, it makes this such a hard spot for Tosh to have to continue to try to defend. But that's going to be it there. GG, this guy. It's a 2-0 victory. Well done. Some tight games there. All right, cool. I need to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I've got a few more matches for us today. So yeah, we've still got Floor and Chase. So don't go anywhere. Be back in a couple minutes. All right, everybody, I am back, and we are going to get into another series and start with actual game 1 and not game 3 on accident. All right, so here we go. Floor versus Chesire. Let's get into it. I hear Floor is playing like crazy this season. Here's Floor in the bottom, and then Chesire over on the side. Again, like I'm actually really excited for that aspect. Like, I feel like it's a really aggressive meta, which makes the games kind of go in a little bit more of a knife fight direction, right? Where like these little engagements just matter so much, you know? And I think that's what's always so fascinating about Tooth and Tail, is that like positioning and how you can take the fight can oftentimes matter more than the compositions themselves. Hey, yeah, this guy, if you don't mind, please still upload the replays and do all that for me. Thank you. So yeah, I'm excited. And again, I feel like Fleur, I've heard Fleur has gotten really strong this season. Again, like, look at this deck from Fleur. This just shows me, like, I am ready for a one base, you know, knife fight, right? Squirrel, Toad, Mole. Like, you love to see it. Meanwhile, Chesire does have the better deck, I think, if we get to a late game. And we see the turrets here can kind of help get there, but again, I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot of these maps too, where it's like, look at this map. You know, like, none of this matters. Forget about any of that. Like, all that matters for this is this one line here, pretty much. And, like, it is cool that both sides do have a mill. The turret is so good. Like, this used to be the way I would love to play, is like this kind of spawn from Chesire. The turret allows you to get into that tier 3. I don't know if the wolf is the best one to get into. Maybe. It's not like the crazy highest impact right on spawn. But I do feel like Floor could run over Chesire if they tried to, like, build some turrets, put the wolf down. Because of the mole, because of the toads, you can kind of slam through that approach. But I think that the single turret, is going to allow Chesire to get into more tier 2, which is awesome. Meanwhile, Floor, subverting expectations over here. Getting that Gristmill ninja base over the side. A nice scout from Floor, gonna see what's going on. Chesire actually also doing some really good due diligence scouting here. Does manage to find that mill over on the side. I love that cell on the turret. Like, okay, I'm not gonna get attacked. He's obviously not trying to attack me, he's just trying to expand. But you gotta be careful. Because what if they never build any farms there, right? Like, there's a big difference between taking a mill and doing nothing with it versus putting 8 farms on it. So, Chesire is going to have to continue to monitor that. Neither of you save the replays. How do you guys, like, not have autosave replays on? That's crazy. Alright, Chesire taking a mill expansion. I do like the one turret, you know, it's not that big of an investment. It can kind of subvert the opponent from attacking. And Chesire is going to poke out here, can always run back to that turret. Some moles, though, from Floor, so let's see if Floor is ready for this. 4 cams, that's no joke. Are they just gonna slam through? That's a lot of squirrels, too. Alright, let's see what happens. Not even trying to focus the turret. Wow, look at that, dude. The 4 cams. 4 cams is so strong. It absolutely runs over the opponent's army with raccoons. And I think Floor is just going to be able to bring this one into a victory. GG. Alright, Floor versus Chesire, game 2. Let's do it. Alright, Floor with that same deck up top. Meanwhile, on the bottom, Chesire, Squizzard, Ferret, Fox. Love to see it. But again, I don't think that's really going to work out in this meta. Let's see what happens, though. Oh! 4-Fire Blizzard! Yeah, do it! Do it, Chesire! Okay, Floor's going to scout it, though. And should be able to just go home, open with a 5-farm Warren, and feel pretty safe about it. Gonna double down with a 4-farm double. Okay. Alright, Chesire looking to attack with these lizards. It's not going to be enough, though, I don't think. With the squirrel already in position. Yeah, you needed 3, I think. If Chesire would have waited for the 3rd one, it might have worked. Alright, Chesire going to double down. Go again. But Floor should be able to stop it. Yeah. Pretty unfortunate position for Chesire. Definitely going to be really hard to win the game from here. I think Floor... Yeah, I would have just prioritized getting up to 8 farms, but gonna be careful and get that 3rd tier 1 Warren. But I feel like this should be a pretty straightforward victory for Chesire from, or I mean, I'm sorry, for Floor from here, right? Yeah, I was gonna say maybe get some moles too, but just gonna move out with the squirrels should be sufficient. This is a very classic line of play that could have been from a long, long time ago, but the 4-farm double really didn't do anything. You're just getting a little bit too far behind economically, so Floor should be able to just continue to pressure like this until the game is over. Deep Sea, I've got one more series of casts after this, and then we can play our series, yeah. Alright. Floor actually expanded. I don't think that was really necessary. I think the better move from Floor... You do want to be careful. I mean, it's tough. Like, you don't want to... When you have an advantage, you don't want to give your opponent any kind of opportunity to come back. So maybe Floor is just having a little bit more fun from that case. Because to be fair, like, Floor is so far ahead that they can build this second base and have the same army. But I think Floor could have just built, like, 3 Mole Warrens and another School Warren and pushed in and won the game. But let's see. Because the problem with doing this is, like, I don't know, what if Chesire gets out a Fox or something, or a Ferret, and just starts getting, like, a ton of value and somehow claws their way back into the game, or has turrets or something like that and is able to stall this out. And because this is actually a really good spawn from Chesire, like these 4, you can't really ask for a better spawn than this, right? Okay, so here's that attack. So Fleur basically doing it, he just kind of waited a little bit longer. And to be fair, I mean, we're not even 5 minutes in yet, so it's not like they waited a ton of time. But this should be the game. I mean, Fleur is just so far ahead. I don't blame Chesire for sticking in. I mean, this is the tournament match, right? Every map win or loss counts. I'm gonna try it, but that is gonna be it. GG! Fleur wins the series 2-0. Fleur looking really good this season. Hopefully they make it to the round of 16. Alright, last game we're gonna go into today is Chase versus QQ. Cool. Alright, let's hop into it. Again, I don't know why it sorts them backwards. I wonder if that's something on my end. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Weird. Alright. I doubt it would have to do with, like, how my file structure is sorted, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. Ooh, cool nighttime map. At the bottom, we've got Chase, and up top, QQ. Both with a little bit of interesting unit comps. QQ with the Skunk Raccoon. We have seen a lot of success out of that Skunk Raccoon concept lately. Meanwhile, Chase with the Ferret, which we have been seeing more and more this season. Maybe it's not that big of a meme. I mean, Chase has, like, Squirrel Toad. Honestly, Chase's unit comp makes a lot of sense, right? Like, Squirrel Toad, Raccoon, Falcon, Pigeon. Seems pretty good. Like, Raccoons can kind of tank a little bit, do some single target. Falcon's obviously one of the best units in the game, especially for burst damage. Then you got those Toads for some AoE. You know, if the opponent's got Skunks, then you can build more Raccoons over Squirrels. Also a pretty aggressive map here. Chase could take that back expansion. QQ also has a pretty safe expansion over the side. But we are pretty close to one another, which favors aggression here. Both players getting into their Raccoons. And Chase is going to opt for that expansion. Meanwhile, QQ decided for the double raccoon opener. Chase also getting into that. So neither side really railing in on the aggression. Chase is in the situation, though, to get a little bit of a better economy going. QQ did hide that second raccoon warren. Doesn't seem to matter too much, though. Little scout mine. It looks like Chase barely didn't see it. Otherwise, they probably would have made it visible there and tried to clear it out. Okay, Chase did clear that campfire. Decided not to take it, though. Same with the mill. Invested the 60 food. Did not get that farm. Pigeons here are going to make a big difference, I think. I like these mines from QQ. The aggressive warren placement, too, for the squirrels really shows that he's kind of got a strategy to be forward, and then also a way to retreat into the mines if things get a little squirrely, which I do like. Farm does go down on the second base. QQ realizes it. What is going to be the play? Some more tier 2 for the moment. Getting into that skunk, so I'm curious, like QQ keeps posturing, and I think maybe that's the point. And gonna wait till Chase's commander's in a bad position. Again, continue to posture forward, but not quite dedicating to the attack. There's the second base from QQ. A little bit behind. Chase has got a little bit of the lead, and the fox goes down. Fox gonna be very annoying for Chase. QQ's got a good setup for it. But Chase is gonna start moving forward. Interesting game, though. I feel like there's a lot of tension here. QQ gonna go ahead and farm up quite heavily on that second base. Start a little bit of skunk harassment. I was about to say, I wonder why there aren't ferrets. This would kind of be perfect to keep QQ pushed back. And the ferrets is finally on the way. Fox getting supply blocked. Looks like QQ sold to try to help get that fox paid for. Raccoon's gonna try to catch that falcon, don't quite get it. Ferret's here. Now we're gonna have a little bit of this ferret skunk dance, but Chase is just gonna go for it. He's be careful on the commander HP. Surprisingly, did not hesitate at all with that commander, though. Was able to run in there and just barely not die, but crushes through QQ's army. QQ's got a lot invested in that fox right now. He's got a lot invested in that second base. And Chase never even really scouted either of those things. Just kind of sensed now's a good time to go. And unfortunately gets that fox warren and everything. I feel QQ's pain. I've lost a million games like this. The opponent just, like, happens to attack at the right time. So that is momentum, baby. Alright. Chase gonna continue to push forward. QQ hanging on for dear life, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be into game number 1 there. GG. Interesting match. A lot of kind of posturing. But if you think about it, there really was only that one big fight, right? Okay, let's hop into game number 2. Alright, QQ up top. Another interesting deck. Meanwhile, Chase, I think with the same comp here. And really good spawn for QQ. 4 bases right here. Can't really complain about that. Also a nice little spot to like throw an artillery cannon down and be sieging Chase. Meanwhile, Chase's spawn is fine as well. Could very easily get into 3 bases, expanding out towards the 9 o'clock. So might have a good match of Tooth and Tail on our hands here. Might be the last match of Tooth and Tail as well if Chase wins. So if that is the case, thanks everybody for tuning in. Apologies I haven't been able to stream as much. I've been pretty busy lately. I've been traveling a lot. I haven't really got to play very much either. But I'm excited that a lot of people are taking this season very seriously. I've been watching a lot of people practicing, finding matches and stuff. This is definitely the most active time to be playing Tooth and Tail. If you are just watching this on YouTube and want to hop in and get some games going, now is definitely the right time to do that. People are always looking for practice matches at the moment. And I'm really excited for the round of 16. I'm hopeful we're going to get some new folks qualify in there this time. I think a lot of new players, or not really new players, but a lot of players that aren't the typical, the usual suspects are doing really well from the games that I've seen. So I'm excited to watch the season progress. Oh, look, oh my god, QQ. Are you serious? If this works? Dude, Chase invested so much money into that mill too. Oh my god, here we go. Okay, he's gonna start. Oh, QQ's gotta be so happy. Okay, oh man, Chase's squirrel's coming over. 2 moles aren't gonna be. If it was 4 moles, oh my god, it's gonna get him anyways. Oh, dude, 12 HP. That's so funny. Okay, well, QQ did not end up killing that mill, but number 1, he made Chase sell everything. Number 2, this mill is so hurts. Is gonna make you sus to like even try to build an economy there. So QQ follows that up with Badger, which I don't know if that's correct. Is it gonna get scouted? No. Where is it? Oh, it's in such a sneaky spot. Okay, I do like the really sneaky Badger. Artillery cannon coming down as well. Okay, QQ, this is a fun game. This is fun. Because I was worried about the Badger because it's like you just force your opponent off of any kind of macro game, right? So like I would expect my opponent to just try to counterattack me, which is what we see Chase doing here. But is the artillery going to be up in time? Did you have so much money invested in this artillery? You have so much money invested in the Badger. Does Chase just win on the counterattack? Yeah, I think the Badger was the wrong call there, because yeah, you got to expect after doing something to your opponent, they're gonna counterattack you, right? Like, you really left them with no other options. So if QQ would have just, like, made nothing but squirrels and, like, held the door while he had the better economy, you know, then this counterattack doesn't work, right? Because squirrels are just really good units. Especially raccoons, like, I think just a ton of squirrels for a squirrel raccoon. A ton of squirrels, especially on defense with the better economy. Can definitely hold it up. I'd be worried if Chase had like 2 raccoons, 2 skunks, something like that. But I think Chase is just going to be able to dismantle QQ here, unfortunately. But really cool idea from QQ. I don't know, man. Let's see, though. The Badger's almost ready. QQ is a very strong RTS player. QQ's got a Badger and a Dream. Can he make it work? No healing with the Badger. That has also been a new trendy thing to do, right? Oh my god, is he trying to just sneak this Badger across the map by itself? Dude, this is so funny. I love QQ. Yeah, so Chase is gonna go for it. Attacks in. Oh my god, QQ. So handsome. There's no way does this Badger get out? I don't know, there's a little bit of road here. A little bit of road. 3 HP. Get the squirrels to come support. Oh, there it is. All right, GG. Nice try from QQ there. Chase, man, playing really, really strong. Played really strong last season too. All right, everybody, that is going to be it for the show today. Thank you for tuning in. We got to 5 series, which is not too bad. I'm going to try to start streaming a little bit more often. Hopefully, I can stream next weekend. I've just been pretty busy. But keep your eye on the Discord. Other folks have been streaming as well. QQ, he doesn't put his stuff on YouTube, but he's got it on Twitch. If you check it out there, I know Evil Murloc also streamed a little bit. If you're in the tournament, get your games done. We are getting close. We only got a couple weeks left. I know some people have intentionally delayed. Like, I know my group. We all kind of delayed, but we're pretty much getting all our games done this weekend, which is nice. I think, what other group am I worried about? I was a little worried about, is it H? Yeah, H only had like 1 game played, so hopefully H can get some more games in. Looks like they are trying to get that organized, though. So cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. I will catch y'all later. Take care, everybody. See ya.